My hood, my city is a war zone. That's what it is. Any given time, any given second, somebody's plotting to kill somebody. That's how it is down there. It's kill to be killed.
I was caught in street life in Boston, and the gang life, it's a facade. It looks rosy, it looks pretty, and it looks like it's exciting, but it's just not real. It's very, very, very dangerous. And when most times they figure it out, they either dead or they're in jail.
People of color are dying at a rapid rate. The mindset is win or lose a fight, you have to retaliate. So people are afraid to get into any type of an incident because they can get killed. I see what it does to families. I see what it does to neighborhoods, to cities, and it is devastating.
I've counted, I lost 16 friends from gun violence. If not gun violence, violence period. And I'm only 19 years old. That still hurts me still.
The Community-Based Violence Prevention Program is an evidence-based program. If you implement it with fidelity in your community and you use all the basic components of that program, you'll get good results the same way other folks in other cities that have implemented.
In Oakland, we agree with the DOJ that we have got to involve community in not just fighting crime, but creating safety. And there's a difference.
Many of our children have experienced violence, one way or another. Either they've inflicted it on someone or they've experienced it as a victim.
Community-based violence prevention programs are really important because it engages communities in finding the solutions to the problem. We're never going to solve this problem unless people in local law enforcement, local public health, local social services, local schools are actually engaged in addressing the problem and working together.
We've already seen that law enforcement alone is not going to do it.
The street worker program is comprised of 50 to 60 street workers, all assigned to individual areas throughout the city of Boston. Our main focus is really to get a young person to see life is worth living.
They deliver the credible message that is able to stop conflicts that police alone won't stop.
We've actually doubled the size of our street outreach workers, allowing us to increase the number of folks that we engage through intense one-on-one interactions to provide them resources or services.
I have Ceasefire on speed dial, and at the moment's notice, we just call them, they come, they're ready to help, they will mediate students, they mediate families.
One potential impact of this sort of community trauma is that community residents don't trust each other. They live in fear. It really undermines your ability to address social problems in a community.
When we talk about hotspot, we're talking about violence, we're talking about crime, we're talking about shootings, and a lot of times hotspots overlay with neighborhoods that already have a lot of other issues, income inequality, unemployment, racism.
We know that violence is something that spreads from person to person, just like any other infectious disease. And we also know that violence can be prevented and can be treated.
Evidence-based methods are important because we don't have a lot of time for trial and error anymore. So if you got a program that's shown to be successful in reducing violence, then you owe it to your citizens to replicate that.
It's nonstop. It's in the morning, you're at court with a young person. Afternoon, going to visit a young person who's incarcerated. Then at night, we're chasing around shootings. We go to every shooting scene. We're constantly trying to monitor where young people are at so they don't cross paths.
If I gotta just share my story a lot with people, I will do it. Or if I can just go out and tell a person, you know, if I can change, man, if I can, you know, do right, you can too, bro.
It's great to let them know, hey man, I can help you with a job. You know, I can pick you up and take you somewhere.
Our summer Peace in the Parks programs brings free programming for 6 weeks during the summer months in the communities that are hardest hit and impacted by violence. And we chose Fridays because that is the day and the time where we see violence spiking during the summer.
The most rewarding part of this work for me is when a young person finally, when his light clicks on, when a young person finally comes back and say, now I see what you was talking about.
My suspensions and serious incidents have dropped 50%. and that's a big outcome.
Between 2012 and 2015, we have seen a 39% reductions in our homicides and shootings. And this year, 2016, so far, year to date, we have another 50% reductions in murders. This is the change I've been waiting for my whole life in my city.